Good morning, and welcome to another day of living out of the back of my van. So, if you watched Sunday's episode, these will look very familiar. They are the burger tacos that I made in my last video. Delicious. And if you didn't watch my last episode, and maybe this is your first time watching my channel, my name is Ryan and I live in the back of my self-converted camper van. I have done so for the last 2 years, and currently we are on a very, very elongated road trip all the way from Key West, Florida up to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska. We're kind of on a Southern California detour right now, but yesterday I made these hamburger style tacos, and today I'm gonna turn them into breakfast. Well, first things first, cook up some eggs. Also, for those of you guys looking for an update on my thumb, I haven't taken the Band-Aid off yet. I did have a bunch of dreams last night about my thumb being cut and like me not being able to heal it, which was weird, but definitely still hurts. Can't really put any pressure on it or else it feels like it's gonna explode. So it's basically out of commission. So I gotta kind of figure out a way to do everything without my left thumb. So we'll see how that goes. Also, I guess it's just because it's Sunday, but if you guys remember what the parking lot that I'm currently camped in looked like from my last video, it looks so different now. It is completely packed to the brim with people going hiking. I guess probably because it's a Sunday, so people are more out and about, but maybe this hike's just a popular hike too, I don't know. But a lot of people rolled in here really early this morning. All right, so honestly, I'm just gonna throw the tortilla back in the pan and let it heat up that way. Well, that's unfortunate. I was trying to keep one yolk from popping, but sadly wasn't able to. All right, so that looks like it's just about done. I did throw some water in there and let it steam up a little bit. So it should be warmed up enough. Ooh, that looks delicious. And now, let's add some eggs, and we'll call this the taco breakfast burger. Look at that. Oh, it's hot. I'm gonna let that cool down for a second. All right, so I've let it cool down a little bit. Got a little bit extra ketchup in there. And there we go. Beautiful. Cheers. So good. Look at that. Tell me that doesn't look delicious. Pretty good breakfast. I think I might also have to stop by the store today and get some new Band-Aids because these ones don't really stick very well. And I also have none left. So I'm gonna need to switch these out eventually. Alrighty, time to hit the road. Okay, not cooled down enough. All right, so I let the pan properly cool down before I tried to put it in the sink. I think it's time to get out of here. So I think I'm going to continue heading west. And today we're gonna do a little bit of stealth camping at the beach. So I know that yesterday I said that I might start my morning off with a run here, but I just didn't feel like sitting in the car for 30 minutes to an hour sweaty and disgusting on my way to a Planet Fitness. So I think that is going to be our first stop today. We're gonna head over to a Planet Fitness, get a workout in, get a shower, and then go try to find a stealth camping spot at the beach in San Diego, which should be fun because I haven't been to San Diego or the beach in a while. You see, this parking lot really filled up last night. When I got here, it was, I mean, there was some cars here, but it was mostly empty. Now there's just tons of cars here, and it's like almost overloaded with people. Maybe that's because we got here kind of later in the afternoon and not in the morning. Anyways, onward to Planet Fitness. Whew. Feels good to be all showered. So I drove down to just outside of Carlsbad Beach in San Diego, which is a place that I've actually been before in some of my other videos. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you'll probably recognize the spot that I'm going to be camping tonight as the spot that I camped out with my brother and my girlfriend when they came out to visit me. So
I haven't been back there in a while, and I haven't been to the beach in a while, so I think I'm just gonna head back to that spot because it's right on Main Street, right next to the beach, and it's a pretty safe location. And honestly, I'll never get over how quickly you can change climates in California just by driving an hour or two. Yesterday, we were in the mountains, there was snow on the ground. Today, 75 and sunny, and we're going to the beach. And we only drove just about an hour, so. I know California gets a bad rap these days, but geographically at least, it's a pretty cool state. And it's honestly even better in the summertime because if you ever sleep in or if you get too hot, you can always just drive the extra 30 minutes up to a higher elevation and cooler temperatures and not have to deal with the heat trying to sleep at night. So if you're looking for a place to stay in a vehicle, I think California might be one of the best places. All right, I ran into the store, picked up some new Band-Aids, get the thumb all rebandaged up. Let's go get ourselves a stealth camping spot at the beach. And we're only 10 minutes away. All right, so this is it. This is the town of Carlsbad, California. And I actually really like this town. I've been back here like 3 or 4 times to camp because the spot is just so perfect. It's right up here, right in this city center area, just off to the side, a little bit closer to the beach, but everything is walkable, which is the best part. It does look pretty packed today though. There's a lot of people out because it's a Sunday, so hopefully I'm able to find parking. We might just have to park somewhere kind of nearby and then go find our stealth camping spot later tonight once most of the people leave, but I guess we'll see once we get there. So I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but there's the ocean down there, and where I'm stealth camping is just on the other side of that 7-Eleven down there. So a lot of these streets are very unlevel, but every time that I come here, I always stay right down here on this street because it's almost perfectly flat. It's right off the main strip, it's super quiet, and typically there's always a parking spot I can find. Oh, and this might be one right here. Beautiful. I think I've stayed in this exact spot before. Let's see how well I can parallel park this thing. I was a valet though before I lived in my van, so I should be able to park it pretty easily. Absolutely flawless. This is why I love having a van. There's no way you'd be able to park here or do this in any larger of a vehicle. The van is so perfect for stealth camping. There we go. This right here is gonna be our spot tonight. Not a lot of foot traffic down this sidewalk because it's mostly just residential and the back of this building, so no one would even really come back here. So it's perfectly out of the way, out of sight, and super close to everything. So I think for dinner tonight, I'm gonna be making some sort of pan-seared fish, and I'm actually gonna be using the fish that I caught like a month ago over in Florida because it has been sitting in my freezer ever since, and I still have so much of it that I need to use. So I'm gonna set that on the counter, let that thaw out while we go check out the town. Also gotta take out the trash. And I mean, look at that. You really couldn't fit any bigger of a vehicle in this spot. The van is pretty much just about as big as it gets, so that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to live in a van. 1, I can fit it in a normal parking spot. 2, I can parallel park it. And 3, going into national parks is way easier with a smaller vehicle than it would be anything bigger. I just gotta find a trash can. I think there's one right up here. All right, so I went back to the van real quick to grab a jacket. It's slightly cold out, so now we're ready to go. So honestly, I would break out the e-bike, but since everything's so walkable, it just feels kind of unnecessary. And there's this spot right up the street that I've been to like 3 or 4 times that has some of the best lobster rolls that I've ever had. So I think as a little appetizer before we cook dinner tonight, I'm gonna grab myself one of those and then maybe head down to the beach. I mean, just look at that. Looks so good. How's it going? Can I just get a main lobster bowl entree, or main lobster roll entree?
Yeah, do you want that with butter or mayo?
Butter, please. Thank you very much. All right, food secured. Let's head down to the beach. Also, last time I was here in Carlsbad, I rented bikes from right over there in that building, and they were super helpful and nice. So if you're ever in the area, go check them out. And there we go. We may not have made it to Alaska yet, but we did make it from Maryland all the way over to the California coast. We made it. And I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect the water to splash up that much. Now my pants are all wet. All right. Now that my pants are all wet, let's crack open this lobster. And if you guys weren't paying attention earlier, I might blur it out just for the sake of it right here. From earlier in the video, when I showed the price of this, I want you to pause the video right now and take a guess as to how much you think this lobster roll and a side of fries cost me to get. And I had to get the side of fries because he said that the meal was cheaper than just getting the entree and a drink. So I'm just gonna save those for dinner. But yeah, pause the video right now and guess, and then I'll tell you guys in a second. All right, so in order to get this singular lobster roll with a side of french fries and a drink, my total after tip and tax came out to $39.98. But I will say, every once in a while, it is so worth it. This is so good. Truly, I don't care about the price. Every time I come here, I have to get one. I've already eaten so much of the lobster, but it comes packed with lobster. I am glad I finally made it to the coast, though. Next stop is Alaska, or at least next destination, end destination. All right, so since we made it all the way here, I stayed down at the beach, hung out for a little while, watched the sunset. But I think for dinner, I actually might need to go to the grocery store and get one ingredient. But the only one that's close enough is like a mile away, and that's a little bit farther than I want to walk, and I don't want to take out the e-bike just for that. So I'm gonna try the 7-Eleven and see if they might have it, which they might. Thank you very much. All right, so they didn't have the exact ingredients I needed, but they had stuff that I think will work. And also, I don't really drink anymore, but I figured since I'm at the beach, might as well get a 6-pack of Modelo. All right, so we got back to the van a little bit later tonight than we did last night, so it's not as hot, but it is still a little bit hot. I want to get those fans on, take this jacket off. It's so hard to unbutton things without having a thumb, or at least without having a useful thumb. So tonight for dinner, I'm making panko crusted, or I guess in my case, since I didn't have panko, dill pickle kettle chip crusted white fish with a little bit of lemon zest. So we'll see how they come out with the chips instead of the panko. And also, I always get people commenting that I should stop using reusable bags, but I use these as a dual purpose, as trash bags. So I'm not just like getting these and then throwing them out. I use them again because my trash can is meant for these kind of bags. It's not meant for like a regular trash can bag. So, and if I didn't use these, I would have to buy 40 plastic trash bags. So at least in my case, these are getting somewhat more than one use. There you go. Get that closed up. Don't want people to know I'm camping in here. So I should have taken these fish out of the freezer earlier than I did because they're only somewhat thawed. They're still pretty solid. So I'm gonna stick them in water for like 30 minutes and hopefully we can get to cooking. So while we wait for that fish to thaw, crack one of these open. This is a little trick I learned from my dad where you can open up any bottle, anytime, if you pretty much have any object. I'm using a spoon, but you can really use anything. You get your hand over the top of the bottle cap is important because you need that for leverage. And you just place something under it, pops right off. So if you're ever without a can opener, you can really use anything that has any kind of edge that you can get leverage with and open up a bottle. So there you go. All right, so it took a little bit longer than expected, but I got the fish mostly thawed out. It's thawed out enough where I can separate them from each other, so we should be good to cook. So before I do anything, I'm gonna get this oven preheated up to 425 because I always forget to do that. So we'll do that first. All right, now we can start prepping our fish. First thing we're gonna do is put some gloves on because I have a cut on my hand. Something always falls out. And then just pick out some of these fillets that we want to use. And I'm probably going to use the most thought out ones, because they will be the easiest. And they're also not the prettiest fillets. I think they'll work for what I want to do. So these are two types of fish. Forget which one is which. If you go back and watch my
catch and cook video. This was the bigger one that we caught, and then all these small ones are the Key West grunts. And I forget the name of the bigger one that we caught was, but if you go back and watch that video, you can see which fish this was. But that should be enough fillets for now. And we'll pop the rest of these back in the fridge and maybe do some sort of fish fry tomorrow or something. Make some fish sticks. But anyways, get these pat dry, and then the recipe that I'm making calls for mustard as kind of a binder to hold the panko breadcrumbs, or in my case the chips, to the top of the fish, but I don't really like mustard, and I also don't have any, so I think I'm just gonna use mayonnaise. So for the crust, I'm just kind of going to take some Parmesan cheese, and luckily I had some. I actually wasn't 100% sure if I did. And then I'm gonna crush these up, add a little bit of garlic powder, and honestly I'm not really feeling spicy tonight, but if you are, I guess you could add some cayenne if you wanted to. I'm also gonna add some lemon zest and some salt and pepper into that. So first up, Parmesan, and then I'm just gonna crush these up and throw them in there. And I think normally if I was doing this, I might use a blender, but I really just don't feel like taking it out, so I'm just crushing them by hand. We can add those in there. And then just a little bit of garlic powder. And I don't think I'm gonna need any salt or pepper because these chips are already salty enough. Ooh. Almost shaved the sticker in there. There we go. That should be enough. I'm gonna mix that together. And that is the topping for our fish. I actually haven't looked outside in a while, so I don't know if it's dark out yet, but oh yeah. It's almost dark. The sun is completely set. It's actually pretty cloudy out now, but definitely gonna have to make sure not to poke my head through here, because if I do, these bright white lights shine out. And I don't want to give away the fact that I'm stealth camping here, so keep those closed. Back windows are closed. Most of this light is staying inside the van, so I don't have to worry about it now. But I'm thinking if I just spread a light layer of mayonnaise on the top of all these fish, and then just kind of press the crust into there and bake them, it should work. Guess we'll find out when they come out of the oven. I'm not gonna use a lot of mayonnaise either, just a little bit to hold it down on each fish. And I know what you're thinking. Mayonnaise on fish doesn't really sound that good, and honestly, doesn't sound that good to me, but I don't think this will add too much flavor once the crust is on top, hopefully. So there we go. Got them all covered in mayonnaise. And honestly, I picked the dill pickle chips specifically because I think that they would be really good. And it's actually crazy. I caught these fish down in Florida, and now I'm cooking them on the California coast, which is pretty wild if you think about it. Actually, it's probably not that wild because most of the fish I guess you get from the grocery store is caught halfway across the world. But this one's a little bit more special because I caught it myself. Alrighty. The fish are all prepped and ready to be cooked. And would you look at that? There's actually a benefit to preheating the oven early. It's already up to temp. Go ahead and get these put in there and let them cook for like 10 to 15 minutes. They're pretty thin fillets, so they shouldn't really take that long. There we go. See you guys in 15 minutes when they're hopefully done. All right, the fish has been in there for about 10 minutes. Oh, beautiful. Nice and golden brown on the top. And while we wait for this to cool down, I'm actually gonna take those French fries from earlier and throw them in the pan just with a little bit of oil and reheat them up real quick. All right, these have been cooking for like 5 minutes, so they should be done. Take the fish off. All right, got all the fish off. And you take these French fries out and we're good to eat. Top this with a little bit of fresh Parmesan, some cilantro, and lime juice, or lemon juice. Beautiful little van life fish fry. It's not the best plating, doesn't really look the prettiest, but I'm sure it'll taste good. Alrighty, let's see how she tastes. And for anyone who's wondering, my towel's hanging here because it's still got to dry from when I showered, but looks beautiful. Fries, I already know are good. Let's cut into this fish. Very good, actually. I almost think it tastes a little bit better with the dill pickle chips than it would with panko. They add so much extra, like, zest to it almost. All right, Dinner was delicious. Only thing is I really wish I would have made maybe a little bit more fish.
I think I'm probably just going to clean up the kitchen there and then get to bed because I have got a long day planned tomorrow. It's going to take the entire day and I have to wake up super early. So I'm going to clean all that up and probably just get to bed. And don't worry, the next video that comes out on Thursday will pick up exactly tomorrow morning at this exact same spot. So you guys aren't going to miss out on anything. But I think that's it for this video. As always, I truly appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, please think about clicking that subscribe button. It really does help out the channel. And I will catch you guys on Thursday.